All right, good afternoon. Let's take a look at your section 9.x worksheet from today's lesson. Here we are solving rational equations. Anytime you're trying to find the rational equation, you're trying to find the least common denominator between all of your fractions within your equation. So like on number 1 here, I'm going to put a 1 under the 4 to help us out. And I ask myself, what number does both 5, 2, and 1 all go into? And I kind of gave away the answer there. The answer is 10. So what's going to happen is I'm going to multiply all of these by 10. When I do, then I can start to simplify and I'll clear out the fraction. Meaning 5 goes into 10 2 times. I'm just left with 2x. 2 goes into 10 5 times. 1 times 5 is 5. 4 times 10 is 40. Now I have an equation that has no fractions whatsoever. And I can just simply do my arithmetic. So I subtract 5, 2x equals 35. Divide by 2, x equals 17.5. And I have my solution. Now remember, you can always go back and plug them in and simplify and check to make sure you have your answer correct. Number 2. When I look at number 2, again, common denominator. So, or our least common denominator. So if I look at this one, I have x, I have 5 times x, and I have 1. So the common denominator, or least common denominator here is 5x. So I'm going to multiply them all by, excuse me, 5x. So when I do so here, you will see that the x's here cross out, so I'm just left with 5 times 1 or 5, minus the 5x's cross out here, so I have 6 equals 1 times 5x is 5x. Excuse me, got the sneezes this morning. So 5 minus 6 is negative 1 equals 5x. Divide both sides by 5. X equals negative 1/5. All right, number 3 and number 4 and 5 and 6 here. Now they get potentially a little bit harder. So on this one here, we have to look for the least common denominator. Well, I have x minus 4, which is the same, which is nice, but this has an x minus 1. I'm sorry, not x minus 1, it's just a 1. So I'm going to multiply everything by the common denominator, x minus 4. So when I do that, those cross out and I'm just left with x plus 2. On the second one, I'm just left with plus 7. On the last one, I'm left with x minus 4. So now, what you're going to start to see here is you're going to start combining like terms. So I get x plus 9 equals x minus 4. But when I subtract x from both sides, the x's disappear and I'm left with just this expression, 9 equals negative 4. That's not possible. So on occasion, we can get a problem where we actually have no solution, which we do in this one. All right, number 4. In number 4, sometimes you might have to do some factoring ahead of time. So if I look at this first fraction, x squared minus 5x is like saying x minus 5x. Okay. On the second fraction, just has an x. On the third one here, negative 1, I'll put over 1. So on this particular one, I'm going to multiply all the fractions by x times x minus 5. X times x minus 5. And this one, x times x minus 5. So when I do so on the first one, they all cross out. So I'm just left, so this is gone. So I'm just left with 1. 1 equals, here the x's cross out, but I'm left with x minus 5 times x plus 7. And then on this one here, I'm left with x times x minus 5. So now, whoops, it doesn't equal. I apologize. I see a little mathematical mistake I made here, just because I'm so used to it being on one side, probably just like you are. That should be a minus. So now, I'm going to continue to solve. 1 equals, I need to take this, and I need to FOIL. So I have x squared plus 7x minus 5x minus 35 minus the quantity of x squared minus 5x. Notice how I put that in parentheses because I have to subtract that whole thing. So now as I continue to simplify, x squared minus x squared, those cross out. 7 minus 5 is 2x. 2x minus a minus 5x makes 7x. So those are done. I still have this, so these are now done. So now I have this minus 35. So now, add 35. So I get 36 equals 7x. Divide by 7. X equals 36 sevenths. All right, number 5. So I'm going to factor what they had out, anything that I can in the denominators. So on this one, when I factor out x, it's like saying x times the quantity x plus 1. Notice how this fraction has x plus 1, and this fraction has x. So now, when I multiply everything by x times x plus 1 in the top, what will happen is all of these will cross out and I'm just left with 1. The x plus 1s will cross out and I'm left with x times the quantity x minus 6. On this one, the x's cross out and I'm left with x plus 1 times x plus 5. So now, I'm going to continue to work with this one, distribute and simplify. So I have 1 plus x squared minus 6x, so I'm distributing. Here I FOIL, so x squared plus 5x plus 1x plus 5. So now I'm going to combine some like terms and start to simplify. For instance, I could subtract x squared from both sides. Oops. When I do that, cross out, cross out. So now I have 1 minus 6x equals, I'm going to combine these two together, 6x plus 5. So now, I'm going to add 6x to both sides. When I do that, I have 1 equals 12x plus 5, subtract 5. I have negative 4 equals 12x, divide by 12. X equals negative 1/3. All right, last one. Same type of process. X minus 4, x minus 2. Take a look at this one, how it factors. X minus 2, x minus 4. So I'm going to multiply everything, each of them, by that. X minus 2, x minus 4. X minus 2, x minus 4, and x minus 2, x minus 4. So here the x minus 4's cross out, so I'm left with 2x times x minus 2 minus the quantity. The x minus 2's cross out, so I have 5 times x minus 4. Now I'm going to put this whole thing in parentheses because I'm subtracting all of that. Equals, cross out, just x plus 8. So I'm going to start to distribute and simplify. So I get 2x squared minus 4x. Then I'm going to distribute minus the quantity 5x plus 4 equals x plus 8. I'm going to combine like terms here and simplify that negative out. 2x squared minus 4x. hang on here, I'm going to back up with that minus 4x for a second. So, negative 4x minus 5x is actually minus 9x. A negative 4, positive, or a negative positive 4 makes a negative 4 equals x plus 8. Now I still have a squared. So when I see a squared, that means I have to solve it either by factoring, completing the square, or quadratic formula. So in order to use those formulas, I have to get it equal to 0. So I'm going to do two steps at once. I'm going to subtract x and subtract 8 at the same time. So I have 2x squared minus 10x minus 12 equals 0. Now to help myself a little bit, I see that a 2 goes into all of them. So I can factor out a 2. I have x squared minus 5x minus 6 equals 0. Now this is what's nice. Factors of negative 6 that add up to negative 5 do exist. X minus 6, x plus 1. So now the 2 I could set equal to 0. That doesn't give me an answer. So what I'm doing is using ZPP, you know me, and set all the factors equal to 0, and I solve. So x equals 6, and x equals negative 1. All right, that ends your assignment for today.